Hello, dear students and my colleagues and the audience worldwide. Today I'm going to talk on a very different topic and that is very less related to syllabus of the students. It's more related to the social and political issues. This topic is the end of imagination. All of us know very well that books and stories and the dramas and the fiction writing, all these things have been done because of the rich imagination of certain individuals. Same was the case with the arts, the performing arts, for example, dancing, music, and ultimately it was painting and sculpturing everywhere. Some kind of imagination was involved. And because of the richness of imagination, the author was able to create something which would definitely be very great. And as a result, it would have an impact on the people, whoever would read it. And the interesting thing was that if some artist or the author belonged to a particular country, he would definitely take care that he belongs to this country. And so he developed the imaginary of that country. That means some positive targets, some civilized and cultural targets, some kind of social norms were developed because of these literatures. And as a result, imaginary was developed. No, because of this situation, because the end of imagination in our writings that has now failed to create imaginary for the nations, and so we are having a kind of situation where imagination is almost dead. Let's see how these things used to be and how it is happening these days. For example, first of all, if you look at the screen, you can see that we can talk about some of the ancient writers, the Greek writers, for example, and the Asian writers, for example. We can talk about, for example, there is Aristotle, there is the writers like Sophocles and Demosthenes, and these people used to create high quality, verses and then high quality writings of drama. Homer and Virgil, for example, these were the people who created great things in their world, and that happened only because of imagination, because they had God-gifted imagination. Because of these people, folklores were created, fables were created. They became very famous all over the world. Not only that particular nation enjoyed the benefits of that imaginative creation, but also the world enjoyed. Even today, these writings are being studied by the people all over the world, and it's being understood, it's being used in order to become civilized and culture as well. But the base of all these things was creativity and authenticity, because the writers, the poets were believed to be the people of very high genius cable, we can say a very high genius type of people. I mean, they were the people who were expected to create something very great. Their caliber was very great, and so they were able to create such a thing. The people would follow that, and they would say that this is what the imagination can create. All these writings related to the animals, related to the supernatural things, related to the human beings were created by these people. And the followers of these people were also there, who were there to contribute into that, and people believed into it as well. These things continued to happen for a very long time, but the arrival of 20th century, that changed all the situations because of certain other developments in the human life. That is scientific progress, for example, progress especially in the field of information technology, computer sciences, and the internet. This has brought something very great. Before this or prior to that, we can feel that in the Elizabethan age, in the Chaucerian age, for example, great writers were produced, and these writers spread their message throughout the world and created an imaginary about their states and about their nations and people, and most of the people were happy with them. Same was the case with Milton, same was the case with the Alexander Pope, for example, just to name a few people from English literature, because most of my studies on that. There are the people who have written in other languages as well. Possibly I cannot refer to them because I'm not that well versed into the creations of these people. What I want to say is that these people were literary giants. Because of their rich imagination, they were able to create certain things which were laudable, which were acceptable, and which were the things which people followed. And now, because of the end of all that, 20th century is witnessing something where we are very less related to the world of imagination. We are more related to the world of social media around us. And that world of social media, equipped with electronic digital gadgets, is spreading everywhere, and people are contributing to that. People are uploading their photos, people are writing on these social media, and as a result, Whatever they see, they write. Richness of imagination and creativity has gone. Most of the people would like to forward the message. Most of the people would like to share the message shared by someone. So in the modern, postmodern context, the original thing has disappeared. The copies have come, and even these copies are being copied further. So that is the situation, and as a result, I say that imagination has actually died, and most of the people are copying the things which are found here and there. Now, this was added, as we say, adding fury to the fire or fuel to the fire. We witnessed 21st century, the start of 21st century introduced to us the COVID-19, and as a result, whatever was left for imagination was broken. People started to sit at home, stay at home, and internet provided them the facility to interact and connect with the people sitting on far off areas and talk to them. And as a result, all writing, all imaginative writings were stopped in the shape of the book published or in the shape of the kind of imaginary stories. The people started to write these things online. Computers provided this facility. So writing of the book started to disappear, and more computer generated imagery, computer generated words and computer generated copies and everything like that started to come, because of which writing became a play of the common man instead of seeing the literary giants there. So that is why, instead of indulging into rich creative imaginative activity, everyone became the author of everything, and everyone started to comment in different ways and language. Neither there was the care of language, nor there was some kind of richness of imagination. All these things started to grow in the 21st century, and online education definitely provided this type of situation to all the people all around the world. And as a result, creativity was wiped away, and more rampant were the two things, which is copying and then plagiarism. And most of the people, even while writing their theses or their research papers, students especially, they would like to copy the material from here and there and adjust it according to their needs and demands and paraphrased it. And so their creative imagination, their originality also disappeared. Plagiarized content was available everywhere, and that content was used by the people in order to create any story even. This is something which is possibly unacceptable in the world of academy, but this is spreading everywhere, and this spread has created the death of imagination. So great stories, great fables, great talks, great dramas also started to disappear. However, at certain scenes we have something that can be, even now can be talked about. All of a sudden we witnessed the magical realism. A kind of creativity was revived once again because of certain writers, or the people who wanted to bring creativity back. But first of all, we should talk about the situation spread because of the softwares like Chat GPT, and in that way, the Chat GPT, as everybody knows now, is able to provide any type of creative writing, so-called creative writing, which would say that if you ask it to write a kind of essay or a story, it would do right. But there is nothing which is special about that, which is not creative at all. It is fed by the kind of sources which are already available on the internet, and these sources are copied by it and brought together in order to create any story or an essay. So this is the way how the things started to appear in this case, and people started to create more things that. Now these days creativity is less there. It is more of the management of the material which is available to the people. People would start to manage the things and create the story about themselves or about the other people. Then robotic education is another thing which has started to come in the European schools and European institutions. People, small children, are being taught through robots, and robotic education has been introduced. And same is the case with the robotic machines which are working here and there. They're talking to you. They are creating the kind of stories or imaginative things as well. So in that way, every scenario which used to have, one can say, the kind of creativity and imagination of the great writer that has started to appear in technology has taken ground. Instead of that, that technology is doing its job at the maximum possible, and in that way is creating the things which is the copy of the copy, not in reality at all. Same case has been happening with the people in many other areas as well. Everyone has become author on the social media. It is not a bad thing, because people are getting chances to write something. People are using their imaginative powers, whatever they have, and creativity and imaginative writings are coming available. But the thing which is concerned with the greatness of the writers, that has gone from us, and that is why death of imagination has taken place. The writers, whatever these writers are, unable to create an impactful message on the people. Original authors in the books have disappeared. More and more writers are coming up with the help of the machine. The tools are getting, and everything is becoming. Now that is why we don't have. There is no Shakespeare, there's no Milton, there's no Sheikh Sadi, there is no Ghalib, there is no Baba Farid. However, we have plenty of writers around us, and whatever they want, they are writing, and whatever they need to say, they are saying. So, in that way, what is coming up, that is something not very great. We can say that post colonial writings and after that post modern writers came forward in order to bring a change into that. For example, post colonial writers started to separate the imaginary of their respective countries or the nations they belong to. They started to tell the national stories and the individual stories, though they were in resistive manner, but still there was some kind of creativity and originality in their stories. Same was the case with the postmodern writers, that though they copied the things and took the things from past, but they renovated them with the help of their imagination. Magic realism, for example, all these things combined together in order to create the best possible stories. But today, this age is also finishing. Now the age is coming where machine would be helping all of us in order to create literatures, and the stories that would come to us, these will not be the stories coming from the pen of the great writers of the past, classic and new classic and post-colonial and postmodern writers of the world, but these will be the stories coming from me, from you, from everybody, and we will be definitely enjoying them, though not with so happy heart, but still these will be the stories, and these stories will be liked and preferred by the people as well. So this is what I wanted to say, and that is the reason, because death of imagination has taken place, and when imagination has died, creativity has died. When creativity has died, originality has died, and when all these things have died, imaginary of a nation have died. And in the absence of any imaginary, the targets to become civilized and cultured, they have also died. So this is what I wanted to say. Hope you like this, and if you like, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button, and ultimately try to put your comments on that as well. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you in some other video.